You ever notice how in e-commerce it feels like you're speaking a whole different language? It's like, oh yeah, you need to optimize the customer journey. We're going to focus in on the PDP here, apply some seamless UX. We're going to achieve higher LTV, drop your CPC, and it's going to be a happy, wonderful experience through the whole thing. And I'm over here like, can't you just sell me some of the dang socks? Turns out the only thing getting optimized often is our confusion. Yeah. In this video today here, we're going to talk about another one of those type of jargonish terms. It's composable commerce. But instead of just leaving it as a weird thing out there that, yeah, it might be a good idea, and it's this something that people are starting to implement and starting to take off, you're actually going to understand what it is and how it can apply to your brand. We're going to dissect the architecture of composable commerce. I'm going to put into really non-technical terms as quickly as possible, as brief here, and we're going to jump in shortly. I'm Joseph with SwiftOtter, and I look forward to bringing you this video. Composable commerce is an idea, more or less. There's plenty of implementations for this idea, but what it is this new theme, this new front end to your website. That's basically all that it is. So let's look at what is your current website. How does that work? And then we're going to look at what Composable brings to the table. So first off, right here, this is probably how your website already operates. We have the platform. It's Adobe Commerce, BigCommerce, Shopify, Salesforce Commerce. It doesn't matter. It's pretty much all baked into this one package right here. So inside this package we have page rendering. So I go to yourwebsite.com and the results that I see right there is literally output from this platform. That's just how it works. It's been like that, for it's probably 25, 30, well, actually, honestly, since the beginning of web. It's been around for, so that'd be 35 years plus. This style is what has been powering it. It works. The business logic is there. I click add to cart. The item goes into my cart. That's the business logic. When I go log into the admin area, I log in. I can see my orders, products, etc. That works. And that's how it is. Now there's API connections and all that stuff. It allows us to be able to integrate things together. But this is the platform. It's basically in one package here for you to use and your customers to consume. Straightforward. You got that. That's easy. Now, I'm going to show you this next chart, and it's going to look a lot more complex, but I'm going to break it down and show you how it really isn't that complicated. So, like I said, this is the composable architecture. And we have, you might say it's an extra 3 components to this process. But this is overall how this looks. So instead of the visitor, when they go to your website, meaning they are served this website by the platform, they are instead served a website by what's called this composable front end. It's basically like a theme, but a theme that lives in its own environment. It's not directly connected to the platform at all. It's its own separate environment, its website. It's kind of a separate entity. And so this actually then lives in your customers' browsers, kind of. So when they go to this website, this code is loaded up, and there's a lot of the functionality that used to happen on the platform now happens in this new front-end website that your customers browse. The benefit here is this makes it much faster. And that's one of the big goals, the advantages of Composable done right. Now, when they go to this page, they can click around, and honestly, done right, we are seeing results that are coming in at it feels like a blink of an eye. Stupid fast. And I mean really, really fast. And that's one of the huge benefits of Composable right there. Now, once they come to this website, we need to get some information. It's not like all your product pages are loaded into this program that are then downloaded to your customer's computer, right? There is an API connection to the platform, but it's not directly to the platform. It actually is through what's called a secure middleware, really. And this is basically an interstitial or an intermediary website that basically takes the request from the front end and passes it through to the platform. And it works really, really well. Now, why would you have a middleware? Well, it honestly is about security. It's about providing a faster experience, because this middleware is very powerful, actually. It can cache information, cache meaning to temporarily save it. So instead of having to go down to the platform every time, it actually goes through this middleware, which can be cached. And then we have these components that the middleware brings in. Let's look at each one of these in a little bit more detail. So I'm a visitor. I go to yourwebsite.com. And what happens? Well, the page loads really fast. And this really fast page is basically what's called a static rendering. It's basically this front-end program that normally executes only in your browser, but it actually has a mode that it can pre-create the page and then basically save that in the just save it. We'll just leave it like that. It saves it. So when you hit the website, it downloads like that. It's really fast. I will say that the first download of this application or this program when you go to the website means the page loads a little bit slower that first time, and then the subsequent pages are really fast. So when I say slower, it's still probably significantly faster than your current website is right now. And then the subsequent pages are lightning fast. And when I say program, it's not like when you click a link and you're downloading a zip file to install Zoom on your computer. I'm not talking about that. It's just like browsing a normal website, but it's like a really powerful website in what it does. So this front end rendering, so when you click from one page to the next page, it's not actually going to the server to download the entire page contents. It's actually going to the server to just download a few key pieces of information, which means the rendering time is faster. There's less information to download, which means lightning fast speeds. And I mean, again, lightning fast speeds done right. This is a huge benefit to Composable. Now, I have Cloudflare in this. So when the front end, this website, this separate website, again, still on your same domain. So that's part of the benefit of this, is that your website domain doesn't change. It's not like it's downloading any programs. Literally, you go to the website and it could look exactly the same. It's just like really fast. So when information is needed from the platform, as I showed you here in this area right here, when information is needed from this front end, this theme or this website, to the platform in the background, it passes then through Cloudflare, which is a web application firewall, which basically prevents bad actors from getting access to the back end. There's been a lot of security vulnerabilities that have happened over the years because this platform is directly exposed to the internet. Now, with software as a service, it's a little bit less, still as secure as your username and password and two-factor authentication, hopefully, which is enabled. But with open source like Adobe Commerce, this is a much bigger deal. So being able to separate this out is really powerful. So with that, let's talk about the next level, which is the middleware. So we have the front end. When I go to your website, mywebsite.com, before Composable, I see products and categories. I have a menu on top, just like normal. With Composable, I go to mywebsite.com and I see, it might look different now, but it's basically the same thing. You have your menu and your products and you can click through it, except it's really, really fast. Now, let's take a look at some of these other aspects here. So we have the secure middleware. So this ends up sitting between the front end and the platform, BigCommerce, Shopify, Adobe, whatever. And what this does is it's basically this hub for information. So you can bring in, I'm going to show this in the next slide here, I'm going to show some of the possibilities, whatever sources of information you want to connect in. I mean, you can go as deep as an ERP, you can connect to content management systems, better search providers, whatever you want. Literally, the world is open now to you, which blows the door open to incredible user experiences and helping them find what they need even faster and better. So this middleware is kind of the hub, and all the spokes come off of it. Now, the front end or the customer experience, the website that they browse, mywebsite.com, that is literally one of the spokes, and except just with arrows pointing different directions. That's all it is. So we have our secure middleware, which is that hub for the entire application. Now let's talk about the components. So whether it's a content management system, which makes the admin experience incredible, you now have a system that's directly built for this. I'll be honest, e-commerce platforms, they say they have content management systems, and Shopify is honestly one of the better ones, but they all kind of suck. They're really not great. How awesome would it be to have a dedicated platform that you give people access to? They're not working in all the e-commerce data, and they're able to version information, they're staging information for, basically testing it out before you push it out to production. They're scheduling some of these updates. It's all right there in a tool like Contentful. We love Contentful. It's mind-blowing, the capabilities that it has. But Contentful's not the only one. There's Prismic and others. And we actually use Prismic on our own website as a headless experience right there. But Contentful, these headless CMS systems are powerful and really great. Now, on the search side, there's Algolia and Clayvu and SearchSpring and all these other providers. Those can be easily integrated into this composable experience. Some of those might be direct and might not go actually through the middleware, side note. But at the end of the day, these search experiences can be very rich and very fast. Again, when integrated correctly, it's really powerful. Now, NetSuite, using maybe a third party for that, Acumatica, whatever, a direct link. And where this becomes really powerful is, let's say you have a customer portal and you want to give real-time information as far as what's the status of my order? Is it in production? What maybe is the stage of production? Some really powerful, like a Domino's pizza tracker, but for your customers, your orders. That can happen right here, and it does not even involve having to touch the platform. So what's happening is Composable allows us to decentralize this e-commerce platform that you're using. So instead of that being like the entire world, you now use it as a building block and build everything else around it. And there's a lot of advantages to that. Finally, then we get back to the platform. So you see, it's kind of one piece out of all of these different pieces as they work together. And the cool thing is, this whole aspect right here is basically one software package. It's not like you have to manually code everything out. This is one software package built on a tool called Next.js, a very mature JavaScript platform or system. Very powerful, very well used in the industry. And we're seeing tremendous adoption across the board. So that's the conversation about the architecture of Composable Commerce. If you would like to learn more about this, we wrote a book. We wrote a book about it. And it would be my pleasure to send this book to you. Scan the QR code, look at the link in the description below, and I'll send this book to you. I'd be happy to chat as well through what does it look like to have Composable on your website. Is this a good value, or maybe you're not going to get as much value out of it? We're objective here. But we're really excited also about the value that we see Composable bringing. And if it's a good value for you, we want to help you realize that value on your website.